Hey, what's going on, everybody? James Collins and Chris here from CPWE.AI and CPWE.BIZ.
Hey,
T- Tonight, I think we're going to talk about um, some of our services, specifically more on the custom development side. Are you okay with that, Chris?
totally. Yeah,
Seems like that's been the overall constant with us is that we're getting messages, and a lot of it's for AI app development and customization. That's our number 4 service. So let's kind of play out a tabletop here for a customer or a future customer
ooh, I
that
love tabletop discussions.
me too. They say we get a call and they just pretty much say, "Hey, we have a healthcare, maybe a senior healthcare, and we would like to know, is there anything that this app development could help us with?" As you notice, we got a question like that, just like that today. So, if you were thinking out loud and a customer said, "Would this help us?" And at that point, you said, "Well, what exactly are you trying to do?" And they said, "Well, we just want to know. Uh, we use spreadsheets and we use a CRM, but it's not really a CRM, and we do a lot of things on paper still."
Mm,
So what
that
would
hurts
you
my
say to
feelings.
what would you say to that?
You know what? I do a lot of things. I got a notebook right here. That's how I do a lot of things on paper too. But so what was it? You got a CRM, but they use a lot of paper. What was the first part?
They have a need, or at least they don't know if they have a need, if they could use AI in their business right now or not. Just
Well,
an overall question, generalized.
I would start by saying this. Right now, AI is being used by 51% of businesses around the world. By 2030, it will be used by 99% of businesses around the world for, in some capacity. So, do they need it? Yeah, absolutely. Um, as far as what type of product we would suggest, that really depends on their pain points. Anybody who doesn't know, a pain point is just like it sounds. It's a point in your workflow where you bottleneck, where everything slows down. That task that you think of and go, "Ugh, that's a pain point."
Well, let's talk
Um,
a pain point of they get leads online, but it's sporadic. They need a way to bring leads into one place.
Great. More detailed. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so we could do them a new website, AEO SEO optimized. That's number one. Number two, we can build an AI or an automated lead qualification, well, lead scraping and qualification automation for them. So we're looking at uh, like an intake form. Well, like when you get on a chat, right? So we'll put a chat bot out there on their nifty brand new website, and when someone gets on the chat, we'll say, "Hey, nice to." Well, we'll have the chat start off with something like, "Hey, glad you came by," or some benign thing like that. "Could I get your name and your email address?" There's your lead qualification, or there's your lead scrape right there. Um, then we would do more lead qualification type automations, um, and then send that information into. We'll get them up on a real deal CRM, which we have.
So a
Um,
customer relationship manager.
yeah, totally. Which is just a fancy way of saying a spreadsheet. Um, but we'll get them up on ours, or if they have a preference, we can do that too. Uh, and then what? So we have the intake form, and then put it in the CRM. Get them a chat bot that is trained on their website, so it's not some uh what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's not some generic chat bot. You're not going to Chat GPT and saying, "Hey, tell me about this company," and it's going to say, "I don't know because I wasn't trained past 2024." No, we're going to train it on their shit. That's important. We can do custom knowledge base. Um, we can do all kinds of nifty stuff with that. Uh, and then have like a lead qualification automation, which I'm still looking into to make sure that I 100% understand how that works, what it does, what data it's pulling and using, and all that. Um,
Do you see
and
any kind of
then
need for let's say, a full ticketing system for, let's say, if it's a senior healthcare system and they have X number of clients, say 100 to make it even, and these clients call in sometimes with issues and concerns, maybe a ticketing system, maybe something that routes problems if you don't have that already, automates the communication process a little bit better.
yes, communicate, especially when you're talking about seniors, communication is key. So what we may want to do is add a microphone on the chat bot so they don't have to sit there and type. They can just hold the thing and talk. We'll send it text to speech. No, speech to text. Sorry. Pull down how far in the weeds do you want me to get?
Yeah, just talk.
So it would be hold down the button, they talk, it saves it as a MP3 or yeah, MP3. Um, then the automation picks it up and transcribes it speech to text, runs it through a large language model to understand what exactly it's asking, what exactly the person on the other end is asking. Does whatever, and then, you give it access to their calendar, access to you said a ticketing system, um, access to that CRM, access to an email account so it can send out confirmation emails, things like that. Um, have another automation with a date trigger to send out reminder messages, probably a text or an email. Uh, and then if they wanted to get fancy, we could make them a iOS and Android app that would basically connect to their website and do all that same shit, but people tend to like downloading apps from the app store instead of going to websites. So, um, but without knowing more specifics and a budget and things like that, that would be just that's what I would think.
I think you're right when it comes to the basics of what you said. I do like the lead capturing and the email automations because, as I've heard over and over and over the past few weeks, there are so many people left behind by emails. And it's not what you think when I say that. What you may think is emails outdated. but that's not the truth. Uh, when it comes to statistics and who has the right amount of money to be a lead for your business and all of those things, every one of those people use email.
Yeah,
So
totally.
what we're
And here's the thing, because and James and I are old enough to remember this. Back in the '80s, it was, oh my God, who's going to buy a CD? What's wrong with tape? And then in the '90s, it was, especially the mid '90s, oh my God, no one is going to use the internet. Who has an email address? What kind of crap is this? And now everybody has an email address. Everybody uses the internet constantly, and CDs are long past outdated. If you're thinking that, oh, well, who's going to use AI? Everybody. It's going to be everyone. You're probably already using it every day and you don't even know.
come on. Yeah, that's true. And what I found is that when it comes to everyday operations, here's where you start by doing something. As you start shoveling the ground, if you will, and get in there and start picking with your process, you'll find that maybe you haven't done this in a long time. And you've been maybe relying on one person, which is that bottleneck Chris is talking about. It can be digital or physical. Maybe one person is just too valuable to your business. And if they were gone, then a lot of data would be gone with them. Uh, these are the common problems. You start digging a little deeper and digging a little deeper and digging a little deeper, one at a time. Just take one subject at a time, like email automation, like taking your customers and putting them all in one CRM just to make sure you have all of your data starting points correct. As you start doing these little things for compliance reasons, you'll find the holes or bottlenecks in your system. And those are the times to fix it while you have someone like Chris and I there. If you want to do that before we get there, just make sure that it's written down that somebody other than one person can do it. That's where we find our biggest issues is when one person wants to hold on to too much and we can't get past them. So your decision makers in the room would be important and make sure that all decision makers are on board with making sure your all of your data is correct. That's where I would start is how do you organize from the time you receive a phone call till the time you write an invoice? What is the customer life cycle that they go through and the daily operations that you provide for them? That way we can make sure all of that is documented and all of that's in one place. That's what I always start with.
Yeah, because we have to have good information to give you a good product. You know, I don't know where I heard this phrase, but good in, good out. We get good information in, we can give you a good product out. We get bad information in, what you get is not going to be what you want.
Yeah, because these things are precision image models. They are precision language models. That means they can be translated to every language. That means they can be taken and broken down to the smallest point of your sale and focus on that one little thing. So that's what Chris was talking about as a pain point. I would say a pain point is if somebody answers the phone other than your receptionist, do you ever miss that phone call? The Again, statistics show that if somebody makes a phone call to you, you want to get right back with them within 5 minutes or so. You want to make sure you do that. And is that being missed? Is there ways you could do that better? Those little things in your business turn into 10% here, 10% growth there. But email automation and data organization is absolutely where people are leaving a lot of money on their tables. Those email automations people receive up, they're already qualified. You've already got their email. You've already talked to them at some level to get data from them, therefore they trust you, and this is the most trusted conversation. So if you have good data to throw through an email and ask for a service, for them to come and maybe purchase another service from you that you just started, some promotion or whatever, going through email and tracking that is gonna be important. I don't wanna keep on that subject. My screen went black.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's back. Yeah, you don't wanna go leaving that 30% return, because you may get one of 25 people return an email, but you get 30% return customer emails, especially if there's value in there. So you wanna make sure you're exploiting every avenue of communication. So automating that communication is where I would start. I like ticketing systems. I like uh, process and documentation being solid. So that's, if somebody was to say to me, you don't need AI for that, I would say, if you don't use AI for that, then you're spending 10 times the amount of time on that than somebody who's using AI. And that
Uh-huh.
time becomes important, especially when it's business owner time or creator time, that $500 an hour time. If you're giving that to figuring out why people are missing phone calls, then you're not in the right area to be making money for your business. And you need to be in the other side of things, which is your management or leadership role, doing your management or leadership things.
Yeah, and this type of conversation is going to be one that probably won't happen with us, and usually won't happen with us and the director or CEO. This is going to be a conversation that we have with someone who is an office manager that's tech savvy, or a chief information officer, someone like that. Because a CEO, or a facility director, they don't need to know in the weeds. They don't need to know all the tech stuff. They need to know that they have a problem and we're going to fix it, and here's how much it cost. The CIO, the chief information officer, or the office manager, they're probably going to want to know pretty deep in the weeds. But I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
I'll tell you what I was thinking when you were saying it is most
God, I wish
people.
this guy would shut up.
No, I was thinking most people don't want AI in their business right now, not because they don't think that it will help. It's because it's going to reveal the problem is them.
Well,
They're the ones in the way.
and then that, I mean, that is what it is. But speaking of not wanting AI all up in your business, a couple of episodes ago, I had mentioned that we want to, for a new client, stand up their own virtual private server and have their own copy of a local, or a large language model running locally on that VPS. Here's why that's important. OpenAI keeps track of everything that you've ever put into it. If you have uh, industry secrets, most people don't. I get that. Most people don't care about corporate espionage. Totally understand. That's a pretty high level thing to worry about, but it is a thing that happens. You know. So if you think, oh well, they're just deleting my data, no, 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 they are not. They are keeping all of it, and it belongs to them. That is their data as soon as you put it in. So with ours, you've got your own local language model. Damn it, why do I keep saying that? Large language model running locally on a VPS that we run that belongs to you, and you do not have to worry about your trade secrets or your
Proprietary data.
your in any of that kind of stuff getting sold to the highest bidder. Just something to think about.
And that goes for those guys right now that are saying, give me a second, my screen went black.
Okay.
I'm back. That goes for the guys who are saying that they're using Chat GPT right now and making custom applications. And they're running it from their desktop at work, and they've learned how to make Chat GPT do some amazing things that are really super high tech, and it's made their specific process better. We're saying we can step up that game and make it even better because
You know what? I'll even tell you how. And I wasn't gonna just put this out there, but I'm going to. ChatGPT, it was one of the first. It was the first big one. That company went from a startup to $1 billion company almost overnight. Okay.
yeah.
Now, DeepSeek is better. DeepSeek is better at everything than ChatGPT. DeepSeek is Chinese. Their
Mm.
servers are in China. That's a whole thing, right? However, we can download DeepSeek and run it on your local server, and you can have the best, fastest large language model that they have, and it's totally secure. It's not making any weird callbacks that because let's be clear, DeepSeek is saving all your data too. So and so is Claude, and so I know Llama is Meta's thing because they Meta doesn't even try to hide the fact that they sell your information. But we can use all of those. Um, if you are doing something that doesn't require any code to be written, cool. We don't need to use that model. Then you want something that's more conversational. Awesome, we got it. Uh, Sorry, I know I totally
No, you're
hijacked what you
okay.
were saying.
We make no
Um,
disclaimers that exactly what people would do, and this is all for just hypotheticals. But
yeah. Oh, and don't get me wrong. Yeah, this for entertainment purposes only. I am not claiming that China's stealing your data, and I am not claiming that Meta is selling your data. They make that claim themselves. Uh, but I'm saying that for entertainment purposes only, they are. That's as soon as you input something, that's their data. Then they've got your location and your username and all of that. So, you know,
so this
that's just
becomes an
something to think about.
important conversation for us because as we've been talking about, if you've been following us at all, we have recently landed um, a spot on the team for a medium-sized company that is working with Stargate. So an overall we have an overall requirement to be paying attention to why you would want to run things securely because these are secure facilities potentially up there. Um, th- those are those are common problems for most people that are in medium-sized businesses that are dealing with proprietary data. I understand small business don't have as much, but you do have a customer list that is PII or private information. And you want to make sure that from that lead form that Chris was talking about, where you're capturing data, whether it's an email, phone number, those types of things, you want to know that data path because when you write down a customer's personal information, you should have, if you're using paper, you should have a proprietary data card over it when you leave your desk, things like that, sensitive data underneath this, so it's not just blasting out to the world social security numbers. Well, on the digital side, it's the same concept. You're masking and encrypting higher end data to where you couldn't put 2 and 3 together to make 5. That's the idea. So we want to not be super complicated with talking about this because it's really kind of simple. We're just justifying why we're talking about it. This is something that we do standard. That was 3 times my screens went black, but I'm back.
Okay.
Go ahead, partner.
Um, Man, when you start getting into healthcare, that opens up a whole new, just a whole nother basket of crap. Because now it's not just NIST, it's HIPAA, it's what is it, ISO 206 or something like that. Um, God, that just makes my head hurt.
Well, that's
As
why
long
we do
as
what we do.
Yeah, as long as nobody asks us to do an integration into an electronic health record, because that is, dude, that's a pain in the ass like you can't possibly imagine. That's such a big pain in the ass. That's what I do, and I don't do that. Um, I mean, there are people that spend their whole careers only doing that, only hooking into electronic health records. Um, I know enough to break something. I mean, I can learn anything, but God,
We'll
that'd
just
be,
pick up one of these federal employees they're laying off. We'll just pick them up if we have to.
yeah.
So, hey, if that's you out there, if you're a server administrator, you've been working with electronic health records, medical coding, you want to add in some, especially on the techie side, um, some do's and don'ts, hop on our stream one day. We would love to talk to you and help customers out with.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the federal employees that deal with electronic health records, they uh, they don't use Epic or any of those. They use Vista, which
Okay.
is what I manage. Um, because the only people that have electronic health records in the federal government are the VA and the DoD. I'm not sure what the DoD uses. That's something. Um, but
I could figure that out
what
if we
what the
needed to.
what the DoD uses?
Yeah,
Well,
if we needed to.
it's yeah, it doesn't matter what they use. The majority of private sector medical facilities use Epic, and there's another one that's big too, but I can't remember what it is. But Epic is the biggest one. Um, I want to say they're owned by Cardinal Health, but don't hold me to that. And I mean, they have training and stuff. I mean, it's not like it's some black box thing, and you've got to go, sit in a monastery and learn it from a 150-year-old monk. There's videos out there. It's just it's a process. But I mean,
So if
everything's a
you're dealing with
process.
that as a pain point, um, sounds like we could get a little bit more versed on how to tack tackle that from a bigger perspective and actually offer some medical things in the future. But
When I say it's a process, dude, there are certifications for it.
with
It's
time, I think anything's going to be possible.
Oh
That's
yeah.
my personal opinion on AI, especially. What's a big problem today won't be a big problem 3 months from now. So if we're tackling it and we've already got your data right, we've already got everything to the point of just connecting to this system, then you're 3 months ahead of everybody else, and 3 months in AI time is 30 years, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You let somebody like me or Chris who gets a bite on something and we need to get it done, we can probably 10x your proficiency just with our two, and we can 10x a 5-person team. So if we were on it and we were doing it, um, there are a lot of people who are. That's the reason why rich people can work 10 times faster and 10 times harder than the average person because they're doing the things that matter. They've cut out the things that don't. They figured out how to maximize their time for that manager time, for that leader time, whoever you stand in the role as. They've learned how to cut things from their schedule and add pure work that is important to push the ball forward in your business. And that's you get a guy like that and put him with AI, you are going to he's going to 30x you, 40x your business. There's no way around it. You're done. That guy can do so much more. So what we're doing is giving the commoner, the person
The,
who's just starting out in small business,
the lay person.
the layperson, a shot here. You can shoot your shot. You got tools you can sell. You got ideas you can build. You got people you can lean on. And you've got a trusted network of at least skill sets that can come together and make something freaking awesome. Now, if you don't employ us to do so and your competitor does, as I've said many times, it's not our fault. Don't blame us.
Greg just messaged me and said, "Are y'all watching the YouTube chat on your live right now?"
No, I haven't. Oh, I just turned chat on today. I've been trying to figure that thing out for a week.
Well, damn. Okay, hold on. Let me figure out how to. What do I do? Switch account. CPWE. Uh,
Well, thanks
how
for
to?
visiting. If you're
How,
on our chat, hit that like button, subscribe to it. Definitely subscribe to our Facebook. That's where we're at right now. We really need 10 more subscribers on our Facebook channel. It shouldn't be that hard to get 10 people.
Craig said he's been having a whole conversation with us.
Oh, yeah, is he?
I guess I asked him to send me the link so I can see what the hell is actually happening.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Well, somebody send me the link.
Yes, it is, brother. It is time to get a Mac. I've been talking about that for the past few weeks. It's computer time. Are you
I
catching up
yeah.
on what Greg's talking?
Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
stay away from deep seek because it's China. Some people may have that opinion, is what he's saying.
time to get a Mac. HIPAA. Unless you block the LLMs from being able to train their models.
Yeah, we want to take people to the next gen level, but we want to do it in the way that they're empowered for the long term. What happens is people are playing, they're dabbling, and it's a time for that. But if you're not structuring after you're learning, then you're really not learning anything. Learning means after you hear it, you take action and do something with it. That's where we're at. We're trying to help you learn AI. Other people are trying to get you to use it. And as we've said, if you just use it, it's going to go out and they're going to keep everything you've ever put in there. So if you're putting all your proprietary data, Maybe it doesn't matter that somebody could open up a business just like yours, a digital twin. But that mattered to me the first time I heard it, and that was the exact thing that triggered me into learning this was digital twins. People who can use computer vision AI, walk through your plant, use their phone, take a video, come back and put it in a program and make a 3D render of your whole shop floor and then emulate every freaking thing you do and all of your data and your whole business. And next thing you know, Big Daddy just took your business. It happens with Walmart all the time, hypothetically. They'll come in and take a good product. As soon as you give them that proprietary information, they make it cheaper and cut your ass out.
Yeah, well, that's why don't nobody like Walmart. I mean, we all use it, but the vast majority of people don't know how to create or craft prompts to deliver based on what they ask. Knowledge isn't power. Yeah, and prompt engineering, which I never thought would be a thing, is becoming a huge thing. And there is nothing to it. I mean, there's a formula, and all you got to do it's 4 parts, and you can look it up at your leisure. And you just make sure you answer the 4 parts, and it'll get damn near anything you want it to get. You know,
Yeah, you set your you set your frame for AI to work in. And then you give it the data that you want it to use, and then you tell it where to go and what to do, and it'll do exactly what you tell it to, as clearly as you tell it to.
Greg said custom bot creation is the way, and we do that too. I can do that in about 5 minutes.
So custom bots is essentially what an agent is, just without the barrier to be stuck on your website.
Matter of
Chat
fact, go ahead.
chatbots tend to be stuck on websites and be very, very well trained. They have a couple different types between what their capabilities are, and you can expand those as you need to. But an agent is typically on the back end. You don't see it, and it's got a lot more power than a chatbot does when it comes to being able to access, say, your personal calendar or your personal email and send emails for you, or our second service, social media optimization, taking all of the social medias and linking them up. That way, if you need to post something, you can post it all with one button and save yourself 3 hours of writing descriptions and writing titles and all of that. Now, I do caveat on that. You do want to make a little bit of a difference between each one of your social medias. That way, the algorithms don't pick up that you're posting the same thing all over the place and then ding you for it. So typically what you'll see is these guys in the mid or at the very beginning of their video, they may have a 5-second clip of the interview of something important that the interviewer says, and then they come on and say, well, today we talk about this, this, and this, and 10 seconds. But that 10-second difference that they did to that video, and you probably know what I'm talking about now that I've said it. You've seen it over and over. People are doing that, and maybe you don't because you didn't see the value in it. Well, there's value in it. That's the reason they're doing it. Your thumbnail creation is really super important. And truthfully, Chris and I are just starting out. We launched April 20th. So we're in less than 2 months. All of this needs to be seasoned. Your website needs to be seasoned, and all of these things need to be worked out as a process. Make sure you get feedback loops in place and getting all of your stuff right, get your bugs fixed before you go live and really, really hit the ground running. Well, we've been doing that for 60 days, and we are probably going to end up doing that for 90 days. And that is because every one of those pieces of the puzzle you want to place. You do want that funnel or that lead capture that Chris was talking about, where you get the email and the phone number. And you want to do that elegantly so you know exactly security wise, how that data is traveling in, what button they're hitting, what form that pulls up, who all has access to that form, where the form goes, where the data goes, and so on and so forth. That's what we do on the back end, but it is something that if you don't have us there, just be mindful. That's kind of where everything is going. This isn't just us saying this is a cool product that will make your business better, because it will, but this is a requirement based, as Greg brought up in the chat, GDPR based. Um, you have and so many different regulations with NIST. If you've ever been down the NIST compliance regulation,
Yeah.
these things are part of the new world order. I hate to say it like that, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be an order that is a digital damn panopticon. And if you don't know what a panopticon is, it's that big tinted out window thing in the middle of a prison that they have proven that prisoners act better because they don't know whether they're being watched. The cops can see out, prisoners can't see in, so they don't even know if anybody's in there. So that panopticon means you will always feel like you're being watched. And that's what's being created, in my opinion, um, is some sort of way to freaking use propaganda against us, in my opinion, too. But I have a I have a pretty sour view since 2012, whenever they repealed the Smith-Mundt Act, and I was a freaking videographer dealing with media and broadcast journalism, and I saw that, and that was the day that I knew I was getting out of the military, because I was not fucking doing no propaganda. Excuse me, not doing propaganda against my own people. I'm gonna
Mhm.
put it that way. Oh, that that gets my buttons pushed. Look up the Smith-Mundt Act and look what Obama did. He had repealed that, and it gave the federal government the ability to use propaganda against its own citizens, like daggone a Hitler.
Yeah, well, that was the one where they allowed Project Mockingbird to be utilized. You didn't say anything. I can't hear you.
Me?
Yeah. What did you say?
I didn't. I was hitting my vape.
Oh, I'm looking. Damn it! I was looking at this other screen, and it's
You're
like
good.
30 seconds behind. Yeah, that's the one that they allowed Project Mockingbird to be used as a psyop for U.S. citizens, right?
Amongst others. And then I saw Operation Binary Blackout on FEMA's website, read through that documentation. I mean, we're talking public data about a cybersecurity attack that was going to happen on our nuclear facilities, and they're going to blame Russia and go all the way to martial law with this. This was our buddy federal governments up there. They're pissing me off.
Mm.
That's what they're doing. They're laying people off, going around doing what they're doing. I don't care who the name is. I have no problems with people. I have problems with situations. And the biggest damn situation we got is people trusting people they shouldn't be.
Yep.
You should have one eyeball squinted, looking right at them and saying, "But I don't trust you."
You
Uh,
are not wrong.
and it's all good fun and games until it's you, bud. Say it every time. Comes
Yep.
right down to your doorstep, and then it's all of a sudden, "I don't understand. I thought this was my friend." Yeah, you thought wrong, bud.
Hmm. And believe me, all of us that are potentially getting laid off in the next couple months, that's exactly how we feel.
And that's why I said it like I said it, because it is the voice of the people being pissed off, knowing that these rich freaking billionaires are all buddy buddies and they all bail each other out and they'll leave you down in the dirt and don't give a darn about you and your family. So that's where me and Chris come in. We built this on family because we actually care about our family. And how that goes out to yours, we want to make that a very real service to where it brings your family in a better place, not a worse place. And
Mhm.
with everything that is used against you, we're trying to make a tool that it's used for you. So you're able to compete in the marketplace. There is a very real gap happening right now between the people, the haves and the have nots. The haves are skills. You need to develop your skill set. The best way to do
Or
that,
know the people that already have them.
that's it. You got to build this community now. It's important because as Chris said, there isn't a chance in snowball drying up in Antarctica right now that it's not going to be used in every household by 2030. That's 4 years away.
Well, I mean,
There's
everybody's been using it anyway. You got Amazon Alexa. That's an early version of AI. Um,
mhm.
Google whatever, Google Nest. That's an early version of AI. Any home automation stuff. That's an early version of AI. Um, it's become more publicly available, like more technically available, and it's opened up a whole new market. It's opened up several new markets. Um, so
I'd say that if you can keep your trust factor low in the beginning, knowing that these guys are going to come out and share with you how you can have prettier eyes and prettier physique and all the things that are vain to make sure that people will pay for it. And next thing you know, you got biotech, transhumanism coming in, and it's going to go so fast that I don't think people are ready for it. But right now, before that happens, you have a window to where you can establish your baseline of where you stand. And the only way you're going to do that is to put one foot in front of another and play with AI and figure out what it does for you and how it can affect your business and maybe even potentially give you more efficiency and different things that puts you back in the competition. Because the guys that use AI will put the people who don't out of business. It's
yep,
just you can't stop it. It exponentially increases their work effort. That means one person can do the work of many people. And you get people who are trained with skill and they start narrowing down what work they can do very, very quickly. And you don't have that skill, your business is at jeopardy already. So let's get you set up to where you're competing. And that affects your family, guys. That's the reason why we're doing this. We don't have to do this. We have a customer that pays our bills coming up. And we could drop off of this shit right now, this social media, and be done. We could be no longer sharing this information, and it wouldn't bother any of you guys if we did that, probably. But we're going to keep coming and we're going to keep talking until you finally figure out what's going on right now. If you're looking from our perspective, what's going on is a massive gold rush. It's the dot com boom. It's a gold rush. You can make generational wealth for your family right now. You can really take this thing and help out your grandkids. That's my opinion. And you can help your senior citizens and not leave them behind and help them with some things. Learn how to connect your calendar and then go connect your mother's calendar and go help them. That's all we're doing. I don't know if that It sounds more difficult than that because of the subjects we talk about, but we're literally just trying to prop you up with the right tools to provide for your family. That's all.
Mhm.
It's not super, super difficult to learn, but it's going to be a whole lot easier if you know the guys that already know it and you can jump in a community and ask questions. With that note, Chris, do you have anything else to add?
No, sir, that's about it.
Guys, Greg, especially for the super awesome chat. Lots of good things to talk about. You and I and Chris will be getting back on very, very, very soon. I have tomorrow night, I have a new user of our tools. He's going to give us some feedback. It may be rough because he's like us. He's going in hard on it, and that's what I needed because all I have right now is my experience as I was building it. Now I've got a user who's going in and really testing every single aspect of our tools to make sure that they're working correctly. And yeah, it may be rough at first, but I'm willing to take it. And I want to bring him on tomorrow night, give a true at least perspective from somebody on the ground learning AI who's done the work. He's very, very, very sharp. And I really like him. We talked for a couple hours, and I think that he's going to be an asset to our team, to especially giving us good communication. And that's all I'm asking for is just ask us questions. That's pretty bad when I'm asking you to give me more work, but
Mhm.
that, and give us feedback. I like the feedback too. It's a feedback loops are important to me. So I write down everything you say and I go and I start figuring out how to fix it. So, on that note, good night, everybody. I'm going to play Big X Media on the way out. BigXmedia.net is Greg Hyatt and his company. Super amazing company. If you need a website built, I'm Chris and I are talking about what we do, but we're doing a different thing. We're building a product for you that all works together. Greg is building you an empire that our products can live in and live comfortably under the law, if that makes sense. Greg's amazing at building websites. He does, and he's even gotten better recently. So bigxmedia.net for that. We are CPWE.AI, and Greg is hosting CPWE.biz. Greg, Big X Media, we use them ourselves. So here we go. Good night.